Well, friends, I think we're finally there. It's been quite the journey, but after the better part of a year,
it's finally time to harvest our garlic.
Hardneck, softneck, whatever you're growing, the final countdown is virtually the same procedure no matter what type of garlic you got. Maximum bulb size coupled with maximum storage viability is the name of the game here.
So today, I've created a checklist, a list of 4 things that we need to do to harvest our garlic properly and store it safely so that we have garlic all the way until next year's bounty.
For the true beginner, those that have never grown it before, garlic can be a bit of an enigma, especially the hardneck kind. An exceptionally long crop, hardneck garlic is planted in the fall using the individual cloves of that year's harvest. They overwinter dormant in the ground, sprout up in the spring, and are harvested mid to late summer, which is where we're at right now.
Softneck garlic is basically the same, although its life cycle is much shorter, as these guys get planted in the spring like most of our other crops.
As such, softneck garlic is usually restricted to warmer climates with a longer growing season, while the hardneck types must be grown in temperate areas that experience a true winter.
Either way, they both end up at the same place come harvest time, which brings us to today's checklist and our first 2 tasks. But to get there, we've got to rewind it about 4 weeks.
Both of these tasks are to set up our garlic for curing. 1 is to stop feeding, and 2, shortly after that, is to stop watering.
It sounds like a small thing, sure, but we need to do this at least a month before harvest to set up our bulbs for long-term storage.
Too much nutrients close to harvest time is going to result in mushy bulbs that don't store well and often even don't taste that good. Truly, for as long as this crop grows, garlic is only fed twice in its lifetime, and both of those times are in the spring.
As for watering, we need to stop that as well.
Soil that's too wet is going to result in bulbs that are near impossible to cure or store long term. Perfectly fine if you're only growing a few plants to consume right away, but to truly achieve long-term storage of 6+ months, we need to harvest our garlic in a relatively dry state.
New growers often have this fear that if the soil is too dry, then the garlic bulbs are not going to swell up properly, when in fact, most of the garlic size comes from the dead and dying foliage.
Nearing the end of their life, the stem and dying foliage shed valuable carbohydrates back down into the roots. As they start to die off, the garlic bulb itself starts to take shape.
And this brings us to the 3rd item on our checklist, the actual harvest. How do we know when it's the right time to pull up our garlic?
Harvesting your garlic shouldn't be too difficult because it grows right at the surface as most alliums do. Simply brush some of that mulch and soil aside and take a peek at how the bulbs are doing.
The issue is that bulb size is only one part of the harvesting equation.
You see, garlic isn't automatically ready to harvest as soon as the bulbs reach a certain size. Yes, of course they need to swell up, otherwise what's the point? But they need to do something else as well, and that's build their papery protective coating. As the foliage starts to die off, it gives its energy back into the bulbs. But it also starts to produce layers and layers of papery skin that act as a protective coating for our garlic.
It's really quite amazing, and all alliums do it, like these white onions here.
Knowing this, your garlic is only truly ready to harvest when 1/2 to 2/3 of that foliage has died off. Too early and the bulbs won't be protected, they won't cure, and they won't store properly. Too late though, as is their life strategy, the bulbs are going to crack and those individual cloves are gonna start to regrow. The window is simple and straightforward, but it's also critical.
And so with that, we can finally harvest. Now, often garlic can just be yanked up out of the soil, no problem, but it really depends on the looseness of your substrate.
A better way is to diligently and methodically loosen up the soil around those bulbs and then give them a pull. They make special tools and rakes just for this job, but honestly, after the thousands of garlics that I've pulled up over the years, I just use my hands. It won't take long, and honestly, once you get going, pulling up hundreds of garlic bulbs takes no time at all. Once all of your bulbs have been pulled, it's time to pause. Don't cut the stems off, don't clean the bulbs, and most definitely don't wash them.
In fact, we don't want to do anything to the newly harvested garlic beyond maybe shaking off some of that excess soil.
To cure, hang your garlic up singly or in loose small groups up by their stems, bulb side down, just like they grow. Make sure to do this away from direct sunlight and out of the excessive heat. 55 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. After around 4 to 6 weeks, the garlic should be fully dried and fully cured, ready for cleaning. For hard-neck types like this, that means 3 things. Cut the stems down to about 1 to 2 inches, trim those roots right up to the base of the bulb, and remove the dirtiest, outermost paper coating. Done this way, and your garlic can last 4 to 6 months, sometimes even longer.
Easy, straightforward stuff, but a lot to remember. Let's go ahead and recap those main points to make sure that it all sticks.
Garlic will test the patience of even the most veteran grower. Its lack of maintenance more than makes up for this, but only if we harvest it properly and at the right time.
Hopefully today I've given you all the tools that you need to make the most of your garlic that took so long to get to this point. As always, guys, happy growing, and I'll see you soon.